Welcome everyone, my name is Jessica and this is Simple, Cheap and Easy DIYs. By taking 4 of these Rubik's Cubes, now you can also use the foam dice or some Dollar Trees do have the wood blocks. I'm going to take this lightweight spackle and I'm going to cover all of the cubes. Now this actually helps hold the cubes where they don't rotate and makes them solid. Also, once this dries, it's actually going to give the blocks more of a textured feel. That's why I'm applying it with my finger. It'll actually leave some lines in the spackle. And what that'll do is once it dries, it'll give the appearance of cement or a wood-like texture. And you'll see once it's dry what I'm talking about. And this is what they will look like once they're fully dry. Now taking my apple barrel paint in the color Antique White, I'm going to give these 2 coats, and once it's dry, this is what it will look like. Now taking my hot glue, I'm going to apply a dab of hot glue to the blocks and stack them on top of each other, kind of at an angle as you can see here. Now I do suggest using an E6000 for a more permanent hold. You can stack the blocks any way that you would like, but this is the way I chose to do these. Next, I'm going to take these wood letters that I got from Dollar Tree and mixing the red apple, harvest orange, and white. I'm going to make this pink coral color and paint the letters in this color. And then I'm going to glue each of the letters to the blocks to spell out fall. Next, taking the Territorial Beige paint, I'm just going to go over the edges of each of the blocks to give it the distressed look. Next, I'm going to go over the Territorial Beige with the Antique White to soften the color up some. And here's your completed first project. For the second project, I'm going to use this wood pumpkin, and one of my sides accidentally got broke, but I'm just going to be using the solid sign, and I'm going to paint the pumpkin in the Antique White, and this is what it will look like once the paint's fully dry. Next, I'm going to take a pencil and just outline some lines for definition of the pumpkin. Now I'm going to take the Territorial Beige and just paint over those lines, and I did make my lines a little darker than what I wanted, but it still worked out in the end. And I'm going to let that paint fully dry, and once that's dry, I'm going to go back over it with the Antique White just to kind of blend it out and just make it more of a shadow and not so harsh of lines. I'm also going to take that Territorial Beige and paint the pumpkin stem with that as well. This is what both sides look like once it's completed. Next, I'm going to take this little wagon and I'm going to cut the wheels off since that's the only thing we're going to be using for this project. Once I get those cut off, I'm going to remove one wheel from each of the sides. And I'm also going to be taking this little piece that also came in the wagon set, and I'm going to use that same color combination to make like the coral pink, and I'm going to paint the wheels and the handle. Now taking the hot glue, I'm going to make a strip of hot glue and glue the wheel down that has the metal piece still attached on both sides. And since the wheels were a little shorter than what I needed, that's why I took off the other 2, and I'm just going to glue those directly to the opposite side of the pumpkin. Now on one of the sides of the pumpkin, I'm going to glue hot glue on each of the inside corners and then place the little handle inside, and that will make the handle for the pumpkin wagon. And taking these pink, almost coral color hydrangeas, I'm just going to place those inside, and this is your second completed project. By taking this plastic clipboard, which I got at Dollar Tree, and using just a regular ruler, I'm going to measure it 4 inches high and a little over 11 inches in length. Once I have that fully measured, I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut that strip out. Next, I'm going to take this glass cylinder vase, which is the shorter of the two that Dollar Tree carries. Apply hot glue to one end and then apply that directly onto the vase. Once you have that glued down, you'll just go ahead and wrap the plastic around the vase. Once you have it wrapped all the way around, you'll go ahead and just glue the other side down. Once it's fully glued, I'm going to take the apple barrel paint in the antique white and just paint the black part of the plastic. And once that's dry, taking the territorial beige, I'm going to dry brush that all over the plastic piece. And then once that's done all the way around, I'm going to take the antique white again and go back over it again just to soften the brown up some. I'm going to take the smaller little mason jar, but you can use anything you like to place on the inside, and then just place this little pink candle on top. Next, I took one of the little wooden boxes and painted it in the antique white and let that dry. And repeat the same steps as previous. Take the territorial beige, dry brush that on, let that dry, and then go back over in the antique white again to give it the aged look. Once the paint's fully dry, I'm just going to take the candle and place that in the center, and then using some more of the pink hydrangeas and leaves, I'm just going to place that all the way around the bottom of the candle, and this is what the third project will look like completed. Here's all 3 projects completed using the coral pink and the antique white for more of a non-traditional colors for fall. Be making this huge fall wall decor piece. I'm going to start off by taking this pumpkin patch doormat. It's an indoor outdoor mat, and I got this at Dollar General using their app for right around $6. And then I'm going to take these Hot Wheels tracks, which I got at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to be using 2 packs of these. And these actually work really well to frame out this rug because of the grooves. The tracks actually fit perfect into them. And I'm just going to measure them out around the rug, and it's going to take a total of 4 tracks. Once I have them measured out, I'm going to cut the ends at a 45-degree angle. And for the shorter piece, for the longer piece rather, I'm going to cut a piece off straight and then cut the end at a 45-degree angle. And you'll see in just a moment how I actually cut these pieces out. Now I was going to paint these pieces first, but that actually doesn't work that great. You'll want to paint it after you assemble the frame. But I'm going to take 2 of the longer tracks with one end cut at a 45-degree angle on both and straight on the other. With the 2 other tracks, I'm going to cut those with a 45-degree angle on both sides. And with the leftover pieces, I'm going to cut one side straight and one at a 45-degree angle. And I don't have the exact measurements for these because you can actually measure them up to whatever size rug you have if you can't find this one. But as you can see here, like I said, I did just use a total of 4 tracks. And once I have those all cut, I'm just gonna lay them out and make sure that everything fits properly. Once I make sure that that all fits, I'm gonna turn them over, and using these craft sticks and hot glue, I'm gonna glue the tracks together at all the meeting places. I do, however, suggest using a super glue or an E6000 glue for this. The hot glue actually won't hold up that long with it being plastic. I just use the hot glue for video purposes. But I'm going to go ahead and place the craft sticks all the way around the entire frame. Once I have all the craft sticks in place, I'm going to take this lightweight spackle, and I'm actually going to fill in all the meeting points. That way it looks more realistic, like wood, like it's a single piece of wood. And I really like these tracks because it has almost like a beveled look, like an actual frame would have, instead of just one straight piece of wood. But I'm going to take the spackle and I'm going to fill in, like I said, all of the joints where I connected the 2 pieces together. And once I have that all applied, I'm just going to let it dry. And this is what it'll look like once it's fully dry. And then taking this Rust-Oleum indoor outdoor paint in nutmeg, I'm going to spray paint the entire frame. And it did take about 2 to 3 coats to cover up all the orange color, but this is what it looks like once it's fully dry. Now I'm going to be taking these Velcro strips and placing them along the grooves of the rug. Now this is optional. I'm using the Velcro strips because I may want to use this rug for another project. I may want to change out the frame, or I may just want to take off the frame and use it as a regular rug. But I went ahead and placed the Velcro strips all the way around. If you do want a more permanent hold though, you can use an E6000 glue, and that way it'll attach the frame permanently. But with the Velcro strips, I just laid the frame on top of the rug and placed down at all the way around to make sure that the Velcro strips actually stuck to the rug and the frame. But once I had it all the way pressed down, the frame did hold in place pretty good. But again, if you want it to be permanent, use an E6000 glue to hold the frame in place. And this is what it'll look like once you have the frame on. Now you can leave it as is, but I decided to add some of this maple garland, some of the leaves, the little foam balls, and the little mini pumpkins. And I'm just going to take one set of leaves and glue that in each of the bottom corners. So I'm going to take one set of the maple leaves, one mini pumpkin, and one of the little foam balls that come on the garland, and I'm going to place one set in each of the corners. And again, this step is optional, but I think it just added to the frame to give it more of a 3D look. And I'm just going to apply hot glue for these. Now for hanging it up, I do recommend these large command strips, and they actually work really well. And here's today's completed project, and you can actually hang this indoors or outdoors. I'm going to be making this fall buffalo check wagon. I'm going to start off by taking this 9x6 organizing basket, and I'm going to spray paint it with this Color Place black spray paint and let that fully dry. Next, I'm going to take this buffalo checks scarf, which I am using from a previous project, and I didn't want to cut this, so I'm actually just going to be folding it over to about a 1.5 inch piece. The thickness will also help hold it in place as well. And once I have that done, I'm just going to weave it in and out of the basket, as you can see me doing here, until both sides meet. Once I have the scarf wrapped all the way around the black basket, I'm going to take the remaining pieces and tuck them on the inside and just use a little bit of hot glue to hold them in place. And this is what it will look like once you have the scarf fully in place. Next, taking these little magnetic tins, this is the size that comes with 2 in a pack. We are just going to be using the lids for this, but I am going to take the X-Acto knife and actually just cut out the center plastic, since we'll just be needing the metal piece. Once I have that cut, you can either spray paint these, or you can use the apple barrel paint in the color jet black to paint the rims. Next, taking some craft sticks, I'm going to measure the inside of the tin, and I'm going to be cutting 2 craft sticks for each tire. Once I have those cut, I'm going to paint them in the apple barrel paint jet black, as well as 2 of the wooden dowels. Now, taking my hot glue, I'm going to apply a dab of hot glue on the top and the bottom of the inside of the lid and place the craft stick down, and I'm going to repeat that on all 4 of the lids. Once the first 4 craft sticks are in place, I'm going to apply a dab of hot glue on the opposite side and glue down the second craft stick to form an X. And I'm going to repeat that on all 4 of the lids. Taking my hot glue, I'm going to apply a dab of hot glue in the center of the X and place 1 of the wooden dowels on 2 of the lids, and then place the other 2 lids on top of those wooden dowels to actually form the wheels for the wagon, as you can see here. Next, taking the hot glue, I'm going to apply hot glue to each of the wire pieces, and then that way the wheels will have something to set down on. And I'm going to do that for the front and the back. Once I have those down, then I'll apply a little more hot glue on the top just to secure it in place. And this is what it will look like once you have the wheels glued on in place. Now taking 3 craft sticks and 1 craft stick that I cut into about a 1-inch piece, I'm going to paint those in the color jet black. And once those are fully dry, I'm going to take 1 craft stick and the piece that we cut and glue that into a T shape, and that will form the handle for the wagon. Taking the 2 remaining craft sticks, I'm going to place them on the bottom of the wagon in a V shape, and I'm just going to apply some hot glue to hold those in place, as you can see me doing here. Now I'm going to apply hot glue to the handle and glue that on to the V shape we just made, and then I will glue it at an angle where it rests on the wagon. And here's your completed buffalo check wagon. Now you can always cut a piece of foam board and place in the bottom if you would like as well. I am going to be using this Excelsior to make it look like hay, and I'm just going to place that in the bottom of the wagon, and I'm going to make 2 spaces to place our little scarecrows in, but you can always change out the inside to fit any season. You can always change it out for Christmas, spring, Easter. You can decorate it however you'd like. And here's the completed little wagon with the free hayride scarecrow. I will have a link in the description box if you'd like to see how to make him. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. As always, you can leave me a comment down below. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Till next time, hope everyone has a great day.